Hey my loves, I hope you guys are all doing well. This is a highly requested video and I'm finally getting it out to you guys. Thank you so much for being patient with me. I'm going to show you guys my step-by-step process on how I bleach my knots to make that lace look like scalp, honey. We all know that is one of the most important steps when constructing units. You want it to look like it's growing straight out of the scalp. So I'm going to show you guys how I do that. So I just want to give a small disclaimer before we jump into the tutorial. I get a lot of questions every week. People ask me what are they doing wrong. They've bleached their knots 2-3 times and they are still not bleaching. That comes from low quality lace, you guys. So it doesn't matter if you have low quality lace, if your vendor is not giving the highest quality, then it doesn't matter what you do, your knots will not bleach. So if anyone is looking for a high quality lace vendor, I do have mine for sale on my website. And from purchasing this video, I will put up a $50 off coupon code for you guys. This is my personal vendor, you guys, that I have been using for almost 2 years now. They have amazing quality lace. I will be showing you guys HD and light brown lace. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how I get this scalp look. It doesn't matter if it's transparent, HD, medium brown. You can get these results as long as you have some high quality lace. All right, we're going to get started. You are going to need some foil. It doesn't matter if it's Reynolds wrap or just an off-brand foil, but you're going to need foil. Next up, you're going to need BW2 bleaching powder. It absolutely has to be BW2. Wella, Quick Blue, all the other bleaching powders, in my experience, have not been strong enough to handle these pandemic knots. BW2 has been the only one that's consistent and gives that scalp appearance. You're going to need some 30 volume cream developer. I always just go for the Salon Care brand from Sally's. You're also going to need a color mixing bowl, as well as a color measuring cup and a color whisk. You're also going to need a rat tail or pintail comb, whichever you like to call it, as well as some Got2b freeze spray. And you're also going to need a butter knife, which I forgot to show you guys. So let's jump right into the tutorial. I'm just ripping off a nice size piece of foil, making sure that the shiny side is facing upwards. You want to make sure that your knots are processing on the shiny side. For one 5x5 closure, I take 1 scoop of BW2 bleaching powder and I level that off with my finger. And I'm just going to pour that into my mixing bowl. So once you have your bleaching powder into your mixing bowl, you're going to pour 20 milliliters of 30 volume developer into your measuring cup. So again, this is for one 5x5 closure. You can tweak these measurements to be able to bleach multiple closures at once. So the formula is 1 scoop of BW2 powder to 20 milliliters of 30 volume developer. So I'm just going to pour that into the bleach and I'm going to take my color whisk and start to mix this up. And I did leave this in real time so you guys can see exactly what it looks like. So here I'm just showing you guys what your consistency should look like. I know a lot of people say like cake batter or frosting. I like mine a little bit looser than that just because I find that when it's too thick, it actually is not gonna spread well, and it also does not bleach the knots as well. You want to make sure you have enough developer. So I'm telling you guys, this consistency is going to be perfect. So here I'm just showing you guys the lace. If anybody is interested in the vendor, this is exactly what the lace looks like. I will be showing you guys HD as well as light brown. And you guys can see that the knots are small from front to back. So I'm going to take some Got2b freeze spray. And I'm spraying that on the hairline. And I'm going to take that rat tail comb. And I'm pushing all of those baby hairs that they like to create. I'm pushing those back out of the way so that they will not get in our way when we begin to apply the bleach. So this is exactly what your hairline should look like after you've thoroughly pushed all those hairs back. And I'm just showing you guys that consistency one more time. So we're going to grab our closure and our butter knife and start to apply the bleach. Now, I prefer to start in the back of the closure just because those back knots are sometimes stubborn and take a little bit longer to process. So I am leaving this in real time again so you guys can see exactly how long it's taking me to do it, and you guys can see the light pressure that I'm using to apply. Basically, like, you know, buttering some toast. You want to be very, very light-handed, and you want to be extremely careful because you don't want this bleach to seep down and bleach the actual hair. So I'm just taking a little bit of bleach on the butter knife, starting in the back. I'm just spreading it to the back, and then I'm going to sweep the rest of the product forward. So I'm just going to brush, basically like brushing it forward after I apply it. So you really just want to take your time while you're applying the bleach. You want to be really careful. As you guys can see, this closure did have like this little canal running in the middle of it. So I did have to use a little bit more pressure in that area to make sure that I was getting the bleach down there, to make sure that those knots were not being neglected, to make sure that they were bleaching. But as you guys can see, it's not going to take you too long, but you do just want to take your time and make sure that you're not getting the bleach on the actual hair. So again, you just want to start in the back and work your way up. And you guys can see the swiping motion that I'm using after I apply, just sweeping it forward. Now, as you guys can see, I am over here scraping out the rest of the bleach. This is what I mean. You guys will have just enough bleach for a 5x5 closure. If you follow these measurements, you will not have any product left over, because we do not like wasting products. So as you guys can see, I'm just making sure I cover the hairline. Now with the hairline, you want to make sure that you're taking it above those knots. So take it a little bit further than where your knots are. And I'm going to show you, I had missed a spot, and I'm just going to go back and fill that in, because you don't want any knots, especially in the front hairline. You don't want any to be unbleached. So this is exactly what your bowl should look like when you're done. No product left over. So I did get a little bit of bleach on my foil, so I'm just going to turn that around so that when I fold my foil over, that bleach won't get onto the hair. And I'm just going to lay it right on top, and we're going to fold it over. But I did tell you guys that I did miss a little spot, so I'm just going to apply some bleach right there. You want to make sure, like I said, especially that hairline, you want to make sure it's completely covered. You don't want any knots to not bleach. So I'm folding over my foil, and I'm going to set my timer to 35 minutes. Now I'm going to do 35 minutes, and then we're going to come back and check. So after the 35 minutes, you're going to want to check your knots. They could possibly be done, but 9 times out of 10, they will not be, especially those back knots that take a little bit longer. If they're still on the brownish side, you're going to want to add 10 to 15 minutes onto your time, and then come back and check them again. Now, this could have to do with the actual quality of the lace, or it could be the temperature of wherever you are bleaching the knots. It could be a number of things, but I just do not recommend going over 50 to 55 minutes in total to avoid any shedding. So we're going to come back to that closure. I just wanted to show you guys as well the light brown lace. I want to show you guys this process on both so that you guys can see it does not matter. As long as it's good lace, you will still get the scalp look. And these knots are again small throughout the entire closure. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start off by spraying that Got to Be Free spray all on the hairline, pushing those hairs back, and then we're going to start to apply the bleach. So again, I'm doing the same technique by starting in the back of the closure, placing small amounts of bleach at a time, and then swiping the rest of the product forward, moving all the way to the top and making sure that I'm covering all the knots, especially those ones at the hairline. So once again, when you're done applying the bleach to your closure, you're just going to want to flip it over, fold it up in your foil, and set your timer to 35 minutes. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of different closures after the 35-minute mark on what you might possibly see. So you guys can see in the first couple of rows, you see some dark knots still, as well as in the back. If you see any dark knots or anything that's not completely processed, then you're going to want to add 10 to 15 minutes and check on it again. So like I said earlier, I do not suggest bleaching multiple times. That can definitely cause your lace to shed. But bleaching it for too long can cause it to prematurely shed and excessively shed, and you don't want to do that. You want your lace to last as long as it possibly can. So yes, this was several different examples of what your knots could look like after the 35 minutes. And then you're going to want to add 10 to 15 minutes depending on what it looks like. So as you guys can see, I'm just setting some extra time onto the closure. And this is pretty much what it looks like when they're done processing. I was trying to get the best angle I could possibly get for you guys. But as you can see, the knots are not brown anymore. They're more so yellow. This one was yellow. And like I said, they also could pull orange, but don't worry if they're orange or yellow, we're gonna tone it anyway, but this is what you're looking for.
And wash me over until my well runs dry. Send all your sins all over me, baby, baby. And rock right up to the side of my mountain, climb until you reach my peak, baby.
Okay, so once your knots are done processing, this is what it will look like when you take it off your foil. And now we're going to just rinse with some warm water and we're going to get ready to tone. So we are going to be toning a few different closures just because I want to show you guys the way both shampoos that I use to tone work. Now you will be able to analyze exactly which shampoo you need to use by looking at the back of your closure, also by opening it up like I'm showing you guys here and putting it on the back of your hand, just seeing what shade it is pulling, if it's pulling yellow or orange. Each closure does not require purple shampoo. So as you guys can see here, one is pulling more yellow, one is pulling more orange. So I use Fanola shampoos to tone. These are the best on the market to tone your closures, I promise you guys. So as you guys can see, they have a no yellow, which is purple, and a no orange, which is blue. Like I said, each closure does not require purple shampoo. So if your closure looks brassy and orange, you are going to want to use the blue shampoo. So all I did was pour some shampoo into my hand. And as you guys can see, I'm just scrubbing it into the lace. Just scrubbing it in, and I'm making sure that I'm getting every single knot. Now, these shampoos are extremely pigmented and will stain your hands. So if you want to protect your hands, then use some gloves. But again, I am just scrubbing that shampoo into the lace, making sure I have it everywhere. And then I let that sit for 10 to 15 minutes. So after I tone, but before I deep condition the hair, I love to go in with this Ion Repair Solutions foaming protein treatment, you guys. It's absolutely amazing. This is what it looks like. I just pump some into my hand, and then I will scrub it into the lace just like we do with the shampoo to tone. It's amazing. You can get this from your local Sally Beauty. Anytime you're doing any type of coloring process, it is breaking down that hair. So I just use this to kind of strengthen it back up. I also use this on any bundles or wigs that I color, and it is bomb. So let me know how you guys like this after you try it out. It's amazing. And I just let that sit for 5 minutes, and then I'll rinse it out and proceed to deep condition the hair with some Aussie conditioner, Tresemme, or silicone mix. So that is it, you guys. I hope that this video was extremely helpful. Please let me know how you like it after you try this method out. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comments or email me. Those will be the two fastest ways I can get back to you. My DMs on Instagram get flooded quite often, so leave it down in the comments or email. Please leave me your feedback down below in the comment section, as well as if you have any other video requests. Also, make sure you guys are checking the description box. It will have everything that I use in the tutorial link down below. And I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye.